suppose mourning is a pretty strong word, but they do definitely, I'm sure that they do definitely feel the loss. They understand these things. Often you find buffalo actually protecting individuals. Sometimes they're coming to their rescue when they're being taken by lion. That was a New Jersey question. Who was that in New Jersey? Cheetah. Oh. The cheetah in New Jersey? He's got a nice scar on the back of his head, back of his ear there. Cheetah wanted to know if a lion will eat a leopard if it kills it, or will it just kill it to eliminate it? Well, that depends on a lot of things. Depends on the lion, it depends on the circumstance. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. That is one thing that you can't write in a book, because I've seen a little bit of both, where lion have killed them and moved on just to eliminate them, or where most of the carcass has actually been eaten. And I've seen that with lion killing lion as well. Sometimes lion kill lion and just leave them, and sometimes they'll actually eat the whole thing. He's watching the skies, this boy. There's no one flying. Once again, a behavioral thing that is that can't really be put down on paper as to what will happen, because every animal is different and every circumstance is different. So once we're talking about certain behavioral traits of things, and a fat cat, fat cat. Behavioral issues. As with most behavioral things, there can be there are a number of different possibilities and combinations of things that can take place during a confrontation between lion and leopard. Kristen. Morning, Kristen. At what point will these lions abandon their kill? Well, now there you see, once again, a difficult question, because it could be now, it could be tonight, it could be that they're just going to stay here until they've finished most of it. There, once again, so many influencing factors of what could happen. You see, there could be another male lion calling, there could be other lion coming in, there could be hyena that can chase them off because the hyena, maybe just too many hyena. It could be that they move on, they get thirsty and they go up to one of the dams to drink some water and get sidetracked by other buffalo. And who knows if they had to catch another buffalo while they're out. See, when they're feeding like this, they're going to get thirsty, especially if it's hot, and they're going to take a walk to, or the closest dam to here, apart from maybe a few mud pools behind us, further north of here, where I see a lot of those elephant tracks. Apart from that, there's a good chance that they might head up to water, maybe only one at a time, but being opportunist, there's a good chance that if they came across something to hunt, they would hunt it, and then if they had another kill, they might abandon this one. They might stay here and try and chew on it. Excuse me a sec. Morning, Blue Jay. Illinois Blue Jay. Blue Jay's asking about the color of a lion's nose and wanting to know if it's true that you can tell a lion's age by the color of the nose. Generally you can. There is actually a scale, or rather a table that one can look at. Mostly, I guess, the first 2 years at least are pink. 2 to 3 years the nose is still pink, but as it ages, as a lion ages, between the pink nose and a 5-6 year old lion with a black nose, in that process of the nose turning black, it goes from pink to spotty and then blotches and then sort of a marbled color. Each year there's a little bit more black. So yes, to some extent it is true. I want to try and come down some of those hooded vultures. Well, like most cats do, Lewis, all cats clean by licking themselves. Fortunately for these boys, they groom each other so they can get to parts of the mane that the others can't. I suppose to some extent as well, it's the wet season, rain helps a lot. And then just walking through and lying in these wet grasses, there's a lot of dew that falls, so the wet grasses help at some point, I'm sure. Hooded vultures are moving a bit. I think they're jockeying for position. The way these boys are lying, all three of them are sort of spread out around the carcass, so I think they're preventing anything from coming in. They're preventing the vultures from coming down. They must have kept the hyena at bay last night. It would have been quite interesting to have seen that, or heard it even. Just sitting here, I would love to have just sat here in the dark listening to the noises, because there would have been a lot of squabbling, no doubt, between hyena and lion. Judging by the number of hyena tracks there are on the road, I would imagine that the whole clan was out here trying to get a piece of the action, and the lion was probably trying to defend their kill. Getting closer because the vultures are getting closer. I'm sure at night they've been vocalizing, mostly to announce their presence, I guess, more than anything else. Kathy, as far as I know, Nobody's seen the other two Birmingham boys, although there was news that they had a run-in. One of them had a run-in with some other males, Salati males, up in Manuleti the day before New Year, 31st, and maybe on New Year's Day. There was talk of that. Thanks for the info, Sil. Through Lions of the Sabi Sand, info from there. But as far as I know, no sightings of them down here in the Sabi Sand, not to my knowledge. Of course, I wasn't here yesterday, I wasn't on the radio yesterday, so I'm not too sure what might have transpired yesterday. But generally, just getting back to the vocalizing, generally, coalitions that are split up will roar and they will call to each other, they will communicate with each other. If distance allows it, if they can hear each other. Just trying to rip the skin a little bit. Still a lot of meat to be had in the shoulders and the neck, so this looks like they're fed mostly on the hind part of the skeleton. You can see some of the rib cage open, exposed. They would have been chewing on that, the ends of the ribs. That must be very, very tough skin. It's trying to pull on it. No, don't take it away. No, we just need to move again. Than here, where lion lie on the edges of the lakes. This was in the Selous Game Reserve, and at a particular time of the year when things were getting quite desperate for things like buffalo and that, when it was very, very dry. Sorry, real. It's only mud. It's easier. It makes less mess if it dries. So that you're gonna get to sit on it. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes the only way to do things is just brute force. So, as I was saying, there were prides of lion that over a couple of weeks would kill a buffalo, feed on a little bit of it, and then because another one would appear the next day kill another one, sometimes 2 or 3 in a day. There was a time when they were only killing adult females, pregnant females, and feeding on the fetus and leaving the rest of the buffalo completely, because opportunity was there. It does sound like a little bit of a waste, but one has to remember that there are all sorts of other things that are going to come afterwards. There were crocodiles and hyena and so many other things that would come and feed on the remains, jackals. That's pretty clever, Bev. Wanting to know if it's under a guarri bush. That is a guarri bush, you're quite right. It's quite amazing identifying a tree. There's some lovely thick guarri cover here, which is providing a lot of shade, even though